Hey everyone, and welcome to a new episode of RCT1 Scenarios But Awful. And in today's episode, I'm going to play Leafy Lake. So, starting from scratch, build a theme park around a large lake. So, normally I don't really use palettes in these RCT1 videos, but for today I'll make an exception. As I think giving this park acid green water is a great way to make it awful. Now, we're also going to give this water a reason for having this color, as we're going to completely industrialize this park. Now, before I start adding any rides or factories, let's give the land around the lake a little makeover. Okay, the park is now already a lot more beautiful. So I did some ground texturing inside the park, also a little bit outside of the park. I replaced these trees with variants that are more fitting for the park. And I also built a nice fence around the park in the place where the original border was. Kind of the same as the one I built in Forest Frontiers, although now here it has a different color. Now, of course, I also replaced the original path with this darker variant. And here I also gave the park a nice entrance. And here on the sign it says decontamination. And guests are lining up to get decontaminated. Now, to be fair, not really sure if it really makes sense for these guests to be decontaminated before they enter the park. It would probably be wise to just decontaminate them on the way out, but yeah, that's just the way it is here. Alright, what I will start building now is something in the middle of the lake. I think it will be really cool if the park has its own little oil platform here in the middle. And to make it a little bit more exciting, I'll spice it up with a few attractions on top of it. Alright, we now have an oil platform here in the middle of Leafy Lake. As you may be able to see, there's also a go-kart track inside of this platform. I think it's fun watching these go-karts go around. Now, I also built another attraction here in the middle. There's this drill tower. So I reused this drill tower as a launched freefall. I think that also fits the theme quite well. Now, also put some details here, like a little helipad, also with a helicopter on it, which is comically small. And also put some of these containers here with various goods. And we also put a crane here. And I used one of these monorail vehicles as the cabin for the crane. Now, I also gave the platform a name. I named it Brent Ligma. Yeah, I once made a platform in this game called Brent Sigma, so I thought this name would be more fitting for the park. Now, and with that, I think we can also rename the park. So now it's called Leafy Lake. Let's give it a nicer name. Alright, perfect. Alright, now that we've decorated the center of the lake, I think it will be fun to make a gasoline-powered coaster. Now, I said I would make a gasoline-powered coaster. Now, I don't really know what this coaster is powered by, but to be fair, it doesn't really look like gasoline in the end. But oh well, I'm pretty sure it does a good job powering this coaster through the track. And in the end, I called it the Toxie Dipper. I merged some of this dinghy slide track in, and I think it works pretty well. Now, the next thing I want to add in the park is a transport ride, and I think a steam-powered coal train would fit really well in the theme of this park. So I think I'll make a ride that will take the guests from the entrance over here to somewhere here in the back of the park. Okay, Ligma Lake now has its own little railway. You can see the station for the ride over here. And right next to it I buried some of these recolorable trees to make it look like stacks of coal over here. Also put a little train over here with just coal carts. Some extra coal carts over here with a little pier in the water. Yeah, I think it's a pretty cool looking ride. You can see the guests getting into the ride here. Now I put it into shuttle mode, so it will go back and forth between these two stations, and it will actually go backwards when it departs from this one. Now the layout, pretty simple. It just goes across the edge of the park, and it goes a little bit closer to the path over here. And on this side, basically the same. Just another one of these buildings, more coal stacks, some more barrels, some more coal carts, etc. So yeah, with another polluting ride done in the park, I will now focus on this area where I'm going to build 2 more shoestring rides. Okay, the park now has 2 new shoestring rides. Over here we see Moto-go round. It's a merry-go-round that's a little bit faster than a normal merry-go-round, and it uses motorbikes instead of horses. And the stats will already also show you that it's slightly heavy on the stomach for these guests. And over here I made this jet ski ride called Meat Spinner. And yeah, you can see the guests also emit their stomach contents after riding this ride. But yeah, just your typical jet ski shoestring ride that I like to make, which I've made in many parks. And yeah, instead of normal water, it's of course on this green water. Lots of barrels floating around, also some of this bubbling goo. So yeah, when you're riding this, you probably better hold on tight. Now, I just got an award for worst park food, and then I realized we don't actually sell any food or drinks in the park, and we don't actually have any toilets. So that's what I'm going to do something about now. I'll add a food and drink stall over here, and I'll connect them with some toilets for convenience. Alright, the guest needs have been taken care of here. So I've built some toilets over here in the upper part, and down below I've built these this stall that sells suspicious lemonade, and this stall over here that sells suspicious burgers. And there's some convenient pipes in between them. Now over here, just like in Forest Frontiers, just made some of these long tables with some benches for the guests to sit at, and probably we'll see less and less of these benches actually become available for the guests as they try to break them. Now, with this done, I now think it's time to build a nice water ride here in the park. Alright, I've now built a ride in the park which I don't really build very often, which is a splash boat ride. Now I'm just like the one that I built in Forest Frontiers, but awful. This one also dips the guest underwater for a bit. Although if the water is acid green, that probably is not something that I would really want to happen to me. Just a standard station, nothing too fancy, a little bit of a queue, a metal bridge. And all in all, I'm pretty happy with this ride. Alright, I think I will now just add a few more rides just to fill up the lake area. Okay, the park now has 2 more rides. Now over here I've added this little barge, just full of containers and junk. And on top of it is this mini golf ride. Now the ride in itself is not really awful. I guess it's just all the junk that it adds to the lake. And then finally over here we have this ride on the lake. It's called Mutated Shark Race. And yeah, I guess the fish that live in this lake have grown to a tremendous size, and in this attraction you can try to outrace one of them while it chases you on the water. Alright, I think the lake part is mostly filled now, and that's why I'm going to now focus my attention on this area of the park. I think we can add a huge coaster over here in this area. And yeah, it would probably look nice if we just completely dig out this area, completely destroy it, make it look like some sort of quarry or a mining area. Okay, I've now turned this entire section of Ligma Lake into a quarry. So here you can see a giant digging machine. I haven't built one of these in a while, so I just had to place another one of these. Now here you can also see the damage it has done in the landscape. And conveniently, this is also a great way to make space for a coaster. Here you can see one of these accelerator coasters. Well, actually it's a LSM launch coaster. I didn't feel like making a whole hydraulic track, so I just put these LSM launch fins as you will find on more modern accelerator coasters from Intamin. Yeah, I use the stand-up coaster trains mostly just because they look the most like the Intamin trains, and I don't want to use any custom vehicles in this map. So yeah, you'll just have to pretend that these guests are sitting down. Or maybe actually it would fit in this park that the guests are actually standing up. Oh yeah, here you can also see a conveyor belt with debris from the digging machine, and it all just gets deposited in this little lake here, which also has gotten a glowing color because of that. Alright, I think that's the last attraction I'm going to add to this park. What I'm going to do now is just do some detailing all throughout the park, and I'm going to also add 60 entertainers, one for each of my patrons. Alright, I've added some final details to the park, and we also have a lot of entertainers. I'm first going to name all these entertainers after my patrons, and after that we'll take a tour through the park and just go over everything that has been built in this episode. Alright, as always, all the patrons have been given a spot in the park as an entertainer. And if you want to see your spot in the park, this park will be for download on my Discord server. And then you can find out where I put you. Now, and once again, thanks a lot to my Patreon supporters. Your support means a lot to me. And if you also want to support my work, you can find a link to my Patreon channel in the video description. Alright, with the park done and the final details added, let's go take a quick tour through the park. Now over here you can see the entrance of the park. Here's a decontamination station. It's still the original hedges of the park, except I recolored them. Over here we have this Moto-go round, merry-go-round, but it's a little bit faster, and it has motorcycles instead of horses. Now, right next to it, we have this jet ski ride on top of this polluted water. Over here we have a station for the steam train. Here you can see it travel around. And where the steam train travels, so you can also find lots of stacks of coal. Now, over here we have this oil platform in the middle. It has a go-kart ride which travels around on through it. You can sometimes see it pass by. You can see the vehicles around here. And the drill tower also functions as a launched freefall ride. Also made a little helipad on it, where you can also see one of the entertainers. Now, right next to it, you can find this ride where guests race against mutated sharks. So the guests in these rowing boats, they're being followed around by these sharks, and they have to pedal like crazy in order to survive. Now, over here, added a little inverted swinging ship. I called it Sharknado, since it's also kind of shaped like a shark. Now, over here we have a splash boat ride, which actually dips the guests underwater for a while. Now, over here we have a coaster called Toxie Dipper, and it, like the name implies, it actually dips the guests underwater a few times through these pipes. And also has this scenery around it with some toxic stuff, which also apparently powers it. Here's a little food court area. So here we have some toilets connected with these convenient pipes to the lemonade stall and the burger bar. And we also have some tables here for the guests to sit at while they eat their stuff. Now, finally, over here we have a big quarry in the back of the park. So here you can see this giant digging machine, which I called Ligger 288. And whatever it excavates gets transported over this conveyor belt into this pool here. And in this area which it has dug out, there's also this coaster which travels around. It's called the lignite miner, because apparently that's what's being mined over here. It's called lignite. That's also why the park's called Leafy Lake, by the way. And this coaster here gets launched, goes up this top hat, then it has this big airtime hill over here. Then it has this giant helix around the digging machine. Finally here there's another helix before it returns back to the station. Yeah, I'm very proud of this coaster and this area in general. I think it worked out pretty well. I think these meteorite craters actually work really well as damage done by this digging machine. Alright, that was Leafy Lake, but awful, or I should probably call it the Leafy Lake. I had a lot of fun making this, and I'm pretty sure I'll do another one of the scenarios pretty soon. Alright, I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. It would really help out my channel. And of course, if you want to see more of these videos, you can always subscribe to my channel. Now, this park will be for download on my Discord server if you want to check it out for yourself. Alright, that's going to be it for this video. I think it will be fun if we end with some highlights. Alright, that's going to be it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you again in the next one. See you later.